And we are very honored, we have our General Treasurer here, Seth Magaziner, if you would, thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Senators. I am here in strong support of this legislation to reduce the exorbitant rates that payday lenders are allowed to charge in the state of Rhode Island, and to bring us in line with every other state in the Northeast. I'll say it again, every other state in the Northeast that has a cap of 36% annualized or less on payday loans. This is a consumer protection bill. In any industry, financial services, food, manufacturing, bodies like the General Assembly set consumer protection standards to protect people. And as elected officials, Rhode Islanders trust us to put guardrails in place to protect them against dangerous products. And in every industry, it's natural that the industry side will oppose those guardrails by advocating for choice. Well, if we want to sell a cake with razor blades in it, people don't have to buy it and they don't have to eat it. What they choose to do is up to them, right? But no, as a body, as a government, we set guardrails to protect people from dangerous products. And it's no different in financial services than anywhere else. As a state and as a federal government, we set limits on the rates that credit card companies can charge. We set limits on the rates that banks can charge. This is actually a carve-out that was created just in Rhode Island, not in other states around the Northeast, to allow payday lenders an exception from usury rates. This is not something that's existed forever in Rhode Island. It's been about a decade and a half, because a carve-out was created from these basic consumer protections that the General Assembly had put in place for many, many years. Here's what payday lending really looks like for most people, all right? You're a little bit behind on a bill, an electric bill, whatever it may be. So you're panicked, you go take out a payday loan. Say you're $100 short of being able to pay your electric bill. You take out a payday loan for a couple $100. You pay your electric bill, right? The fee is charged, and then the lender later deducts that money out of your bank account. Keep that in mind too, right? In most payday loans, you have to give them your bank account information and they take the money out, whether you're ready to give it back or not, right? Then another month goes by, your electric bill's due again, and now instead of being $100 short, you're $150 short. So what do? You panic, you go back again. 75% of the revenue in the payday loan industry comes from customers that take out at least 10 loans a year. So this is not just like one-off, a one-time emergency, so I go take out a loan and then I'm all set. They make their money, the majority of their money, on frequent repeat customers that come back again and again and again, right? More than 75% of the revenue comes from customers that take out at least 10 loans a year at up to a 260% annualized rate. That's why that example of I'll lend you $100 and you give me back 101 tomorrow, that doesn't apply when people are taking out 10, 12, 14 loans a year, right? And so again, basic guardrails. And I make this statement the last few years, and I say this to my friends on the industry side. I'll make you a deal. Say that we don't lower the cap in Rhode Island. Say that we allow 260%, unlike the rest of the other northeastern states, but we pass a law saying you can only take out 1 or 2 a year. They would never agree to that because that's not how they make their money. They make their money on the repeat customers. So let's go back to the choice issue. What happens if you pass this bill and you bring us in line with the other northeastern states, 36% as an annualized cap, right? If somebody has that electric bill that comes up, where do they go? What do they do? Well, we don't have to speculate because we know the experience in other states that have passed these bills, right? In North Carolina not long ago, they passed a bill similar to this one. And what did they find? What do people do? Well, the most common things that people do, they use a credit card. Credit cards have interest rates, but 18% is a lot different from 260%, right? They borrow money from family. They, push off their bills. They talk with their lenders. More often than not, people figure it out. 100% of the time, no, but more often than not. And a lot of the other examples we've heard today also just don't make common sense. If you have a lot of different debts and you want to consolidate them, fine. But why would you consolidate them in the form of loan that has the highest interest rate of all of them by far, right? So without belaboring it too much, because it looks like you have a long night ahead of you, maybe, I would just come back to, this is a basic consumer protection bill, just like we passed for all kinds of industries, manufacturing, food, other products, other financial services, for guardrails to protect Rhode Islanders, which is what they expect us to do for them, just like all the other northeastern states have done, many other states. The federal government, the United States Congress, passed a law forbidding payday lending on military bases and in the vicinity of military bases because they were worried that it would make the American military less effective if American service members became trapped in payday loan cycles. So think about that. Again, we're not saying we're going to outlaw all small dollar loans. We're not saying we're going to outlaw all financial innovation. Guardrails is all we're advocating for. So I thank you for the opportunity to come before you today, and I ask you to consider this bill. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Treasurer. Are there any questions, comments for the Treasurer?
I just have a comment.
Yes, Senator.
Thank you, Chair. I'm so glad you mentioned this special carve out and that we're talking about 36%. And if you can't make a business work, I don't like these loans, but if you can't make a business work with 36% on these small loans, something's wrong. So we're just talking about the guardrails, and it's the least we can do, I think. So this is just a comment, not a question. But thank you for talking about that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.